In this tutorial, we're going to do a basic overview of ProKitchen. We're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to design a kitchen all the way through the end, and along the way we're going to check out all of the features of ProKitchen. So when you first open ProKitchen, you come to a screen that is Open New. And if you've not used ProKitchen before, Create a New Design will be the option that you want to choose because you won't have any existing designs to work with. If you want to go back and work on an existing design that you've already created, then you simply click on Open an Existing Design. But for this case, we want to create a new design. So we're going to come down here and we're going to click on OK. And when we click on OK, a new window appears for us. And these are our design settings. And under this we have multiple tabs here where we can come in and we can set customer information, our dealer information, the designer information, supervisor information if necessary. Also we can set the basics for our construction, our moldings, our countertops, our 3D views, and the units of measurement. Now the very most important thing we need to do in here is we need to create our design file. We have to do this before we can do any design. All these other tabs are optional, but we must create a design file. Now if we look here, it says click on folder to the right to specify design file name and location. Easy enough, we click on this little folder. This little folder is going to take us to our documents or wherever you have it set up as default, and we'll take a look at that shortly. Here's the designs that I currently have, and we are going to build a new design here, and we're going to name this design PK Tutorial 1, and we're going to save this design. Now we can come over here and we can fill out this other information. We can set our contract number in here, we can set our order number in here. You may not have this information at the time when you first sit down and create this, but if you want to track these by contract number and order number, then you can come back at any time by going to your settings and design settings. It's in that tab up there, and you can fill this information in. Design status, this is a handy little window to use because you can come in here and you can mark your design with where it's at in the process of being a sold order. So we're going to set preliminary design here. Process by, you can put, if you have a processor information, you can put that in here, which could be your name, your supervisor's name, the guy that looks over your shoulder, whatever. And then you can come down here and make a note. Now we can come over to the customers, and in customers you can use existing customers or you can set new customers. In this case we've got nobody set in here yet, so we want to hit browse, and now I do have a couple customers already set up. So I've got Mike's Remodeling and I've got Home Builders Inc. And if if anybody out there is Mike's Remodeling or Home Builders Inc., I'm not picking on you. I just made these up. So you can come in here and you can select, and it fills out all their information. Or you can come in here and you can set up a new one. And we're going to set up a new one. So we're going to start with new. So we can start here with account number. If you have an account number, you may not. We're just going to do this guy as account number 1564. Company name, if you're working with a contractor, then you put their company name in here, obviously. If not, then you would just fill out the first name, last name. And we're going to say we're working with a contractor, so we're going to call this Kitchen Contractors. Yes, I spelled contractors with a K. First name Bill, last name Jones, email bj at kitchencontractors.com. Phone number, we'll just make a generic phone number here. I do apologize if by chance I do happen to pick somebody's phone number out of here. It was not intentional. Let's see, because these are purely random made numbers. And you can fill the rest of these out. We're going to assume we did. Address. I've got a couple addresses in here already, but we want a new one because it doesn't quite add up here. So we're going to go new, and we're going to make this address 736 736 Old Way Road, city, our town, because why not, zip, and we'll make this a California town. Sounds like a good California town. Okay, so here we've got the last one we added in here, so we want to select that. And now we've got the mailing address in here. Shipment address, we want this to go to the job, so we're going to have this as a different shipment address instead of the same as the mailing. And we're going to put it at this one, 121 New Home Drive. I apologize, my video screen's a little bit smaller. Sometimes it pops these off, so I have to move them around for you. So we're going to do 121 New Home Drive, and we're going to select that. And then we want to invoice it to be the same as the mailing because we want the contractor to get the invoice. So we're going to click OK on that. And we are all set up now. So here's kitchen contractors Bill Jones, all of his address, mailing, shipment, and invoice address is all set up in here. Now if we click OK, it takes us out of here, so we don't want to click OK. We want to go to the next tab. This is the dealer tab, and this is where you would enter your dealer information. And so let's just enter some dealer information in here. Once you enter this once, it stays in here. So we want to name this ProKitchen Designs. And we'll put Paul, and that is me, at ProKitchenDesign.com. My phone. And we'll just leave the rest of those blank. We'll go in here, and I'm just going to grab one of my addresses. We'll call it this one. And select. Same as mailing. There we go. Now we can set up our designer. So in this instance, your company may have 4, 5, or 6 designers. They can all be set up in here. I'm going to browse, and we're just going to grab one that I already have set up. Select, that's what I want, not new. And there we go, all that's in there. Supervisor, we don't have supervisor information, but it could be same as dealer, same as designer. We're going to come over here to our construction tab now. And this is where we get into the fun stuff. This is where we can set all of the construction parts for our design. So our wall thickness default is 4. I'm going to make it 4.5 for my design. My zone width is 30 inches, so I'm going to leave that. My wall height is 96. And now you see we've got apply to existing walls out here. So if I already had walls in my design, say my design was mostly done, and I realized, oh, I've got 96-inch walls and I should have 120-inch walls, then we can come in here, set our wall height at 120, apply to existing walls, and all of our walls will change. Otherwise, if you already have walls set and you come and change this, when you go set new walls, they will have the new settings and the old walls will remain the old settings. And now we have wall items alignment. So we've got top alignment and bottom alignment. You notice top alignment is set at 84 inches. So any wall items, wall cabinets, windows, all this kind of thing will set at 84 inches. Now we can change that to a bottom alignment if you like. You'd probably want bottom alignment to be more like 54 inches. But you can set the bottom alignment to 54. So in this instance, Say you were doing raised corner cabinets, all of your cabinets will place at 54 inches off the floor, and so a raised corner cabinet would automatically raise. If you had your top alignment set, the raised corner cabinet would actually drop and you'd need to raise it manually. Additional weight for pallets. If you ship by weight, you can add additional weight in here if necessary. Your dimension nomenclature orientation. Here you can come in here and you can change the dimension nomenclature. So your inches that lay out on the plan, you can set these in here for different angles if you'd like. And you can also have auto offset hoods from cabinets. In this instance, we have it set as 1 inch default, so when you go and place a hood, it's going to automatically default at 1 inch from the nearest cabinet. And you can set that to whatever you'd like. Moldings, we have an auto moldings button in here, and so when you use your automatic moldings, you have to tell it what to place. So you'd set the moldings here. So we're going to do top moldings, and my design is going to be in Fabuwood here, and I want that top molding, and my toe kick again is going to be Fabuwood, and I'm going to use that toe kick. And so we're set there because I'm not going to do a light rail. I would turn it on if I was going to do a light rail. Countertop. Here's all the presets for the countertop. They're good, so I'm just going to leave them the way they are, but you can change them to set your preferences. 3D. These are defaults for 3D. So we've got a default countertop, default wall color, default flooring, default ceiling, and a company logo. So we'll let you put your company logo in there. You don't want ours. So countertop, we're going to hit select. And we can come in here and we can choose whatever countertop we would like out of our list of countertops. And you're not limited just to countertops. We could set it as paint. We could set a metal in there. Metals are kind of fun to use as countertops. Gives you some really cool countertops. But we're going to go up here to granite, and we're just going to pick a nice granite out of here. Something nice, fairly dark, something like this. And I'm going to set OK. We could add it to favorites. Once you add it to favorites, they stick up here, and you can just grab them out of favorites. Makes it fast if you have a countertop that you prefer to use in your designs. So we've got a new countertop. We can change our wall colors, and we're just going to grab something in here in the blue paint scheme, and we're going to go something like that for our wall color. I'm going to hit OK. Our flooring, we've got lots of flooring options in here we can set. I'm going to grab just a nice hardwood. And the ceiling, I'm going to leave it. And for your logo, you can come in here and select your logo. You just need to save it as a JPEG in here, and you can set it. So I don't have a logo set up in here. But the cool thing is you can also change where that logo shows. So when you print it out, it can be in the upper right or left corner, bottom right or left corner. And then units, finally, you can come and set your unit, preferred unit. Default is imperial inches, and you probably won't want to change it from that, but you certainly can. And now we're going to click OK, and we are ready to start designing our kitchen. So once we click OK and this grid work comes up, when I say we're ready to start designing the kitchen, I mean we are ready. We have nothing left to do except for figure out where we want to start our walls. And when we figure out where we want to start our walls, we're going to click on the layout, and we're going to move our mouse the direction we want our walls to go. You see, you can rotate all the way around here. Now preferably when you design in a clockwise format. So you come across here, and you make all sorts of little walls. All sorts of crazy walls out here. Now you notice as I went clockwise, you notice this little dotted line inside here. If you've used kitchen design software before, you're familiar with this dotted line. This is our placement zone. You'll notice as I go clockwise, my placement zone is always on the inside. If I was to go counterclockwise, my placement zone would be out here on the outside. So just a little something to keep in mind as you get going here. So here's all my walls. Say I got a little carried away and I don't want a wall, I can click on it and I can hit delete. So we're going to delete a few of these out of here. We're actually going to delete them all eventually, but now you also notice when I click on a wall I got these little buttons. We'll take a look at those a little bit closer later, but just in a nutshell, I can resize things with those. But again, we'll take a look at those a little closer later. Let's get all of these walls off of here. Now, if you've come in here and you've lost your walls, you did something and you clicked, like now I'm clicking and there's no walls. So, easy enough, we come over here and we hit sketch, and that'll build our walls. Or we can select a predetermined shape. Let's do a U-shaped room. It's coming out here. We can choose how we want it from the bottom. We can do it right side up U, upside down U, left or a right U. And you can also change your A and B dimensions on these. So if we set this one, I can set A to be 120, I can set B to be 96, and I can leave my wall height at 120. And there's my wall. Okay, now that my U-shaped wall is out here, we're not using that one for the design either, so we can come in here and delete it. And again, I'm just highlighting and clicking delete. You can also right click and go to wall number 1 and delete. So, got that out of the way. Now, to build my kitchen, we're going to come down here, zoom out just a little bit so I have a little more grid work to work with. And I'm going to start building my kitchen walls. I want to come north out of here, 150 inches. And you'll notice that as I move my mouse here, my length over here changes. Now I want a 150-inch wall, and I can come through here and I can set 151, 150 and 3/4. And I can play with this till I maybe get 150 inches up here, but it's kind of a pain in the neck. You'll notice it's highlighted blue. Now it was highlighted blue before I moved my mouse over here. I'm going to move my mouse away so that you can see that it's highlighted blue. All I'm going to do, let go of my mouse, I'm going to reach over to my keyboard, I'm going to hit backspace, and the length goes away. I'm going to type in 150 inches. Now, I want 150 inches, and that's all I want. I don't want to mess with the angle. I don't want to mess with the height. So I am going to hit enter on my keyboard, and I have a 150-inch wall. Now, you'll notice back on the screen that my wall has turned right. Well, now it's turned left because I'm messing with it. Turned right. I was going to make it a little bigger. It's turned right, and it started off at 4 inches here to the right. There we go. And I know that I want this wall to be 150 inches too, so I am simply going to enter 150 inches, and I'm going to hit enter again. Now again, my wall is made a right-hand corner, and it's 4 inches long. This wall I want to be 72 inches. I'm going to type in 72, and I'm going to hit enter. Now for my final wall, again, I've made a 90-degree corner to the right, and I've got a 4-inch wall. However, I want this wall to be 54 inches, and I don't want it to go to the right. I want it to, well, I do want it to go to the right. I just don't want it to go to the right at 90 degrees. So I'm going to hit tab, brings me down to 90, and I'm going to type 135. And I am going to also lower the height of this wall to 40.5 inches. And now I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and this is the end of my walls, so I am going to hit escape on my keyboard. Now you notice that as soon as I hit escape, my walls centered and enlarged on the screen, which makes it easy for when you're done. It pops up, it's at a size that's ready to go. So got all my walls in here, but we want to play with them before we actually start designing. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to click on this wall, and you see all my little handles. So we call these guys handles. If I click on my end handle here, it's pointing in the diagonal direction. All I got to do is click, and I can change the length of this wall. Easy peasy. Again, you'll notice over here that I'm highlighted in the blue, and I can come in here and I can reset that. 54 inches, that's where I had it. Click back on my wall and you'll see I've got a few more handles. This handle allows me to rotate. So if I place it and I place it wrong, I can come in here and change it. And this handle allows me to grow it in and out. So if I place the other wall wrong, I could come in here and change it. And then this handle allows me to rotate the entire design. Get it back up here. Sometimes getting it right back to square is a challenge, so you set it offset and you back up. That was my undo button. So there are all my walls set out here. And now, while we're working on walls, we're going to take a look at our wall attributes. We've got wall groups 3, and this is correct, even though we've only got one wall group showing out here. If you remember, we actually placed 3 sets of walls. We started out with our very first set that was that great big one that curled around. Then we did the U-shaped wall. And now, this is our 3rd set of walls in this design. Even though we've erased the others, it still remembers that they were there. So wall groups 3, and this is wall number 2. Wall number 2, you got wall number 1 over here. It's automatically going to tell you what that wall is. So wall number 2, and here we've got a lot of the same functions here that we have out with our handles. We could rotate, we can move, we can resize, we can extrude. That one's not a handle, that one's a little bit different. We'll take a look at that. We can add wall, we can add a construction line, we can add it to another group if we had. We can remove it from a group, we can delete it, we can do an inside elevation, and we can take attributes of the wall. So here's our attributes, pretty general, tells us that it's a wall, but if we want to change it to a construction line, we can do that right here. Wall zones, inside zone. If we wanted the outside zone, we could click on that right here, and we could swap them around. You can have one or the other or both. We can edit the wall. Say we need to make this 155 inches, we could come in here and just add a 5, and it'd be 155. And then we have some wall materials over here. These are NKBA materials in here, so if you clicked on wood stud, it would show you a wood stud wall. There we go, wood studs. And these are the NKBA settings in here, so you can do concrete, concrete block, metal stud, brick, special finish face, whatever. We're going to leave it on default. And we also can come over here and do texture. So you could do a special texture. Now remember, in our initial settings, design settings, when we set up all those little tabs, we set a texture in here. But we could come in here and we could change that. And if we wanted to change that, we can come over here and we could put a wallpaper, or we could put any texture on it. It doesn't have to be wallpaper. But this would be for that wall specifically. So if I wanted to do a different texture on all 4 of my walls, I could come in here and select a different texture for each one of these, and it would show in the layout on those. But we want to leave it as default for this. Now let's come over to our long wall and take a look at some of the features that we skipped here. We talked about extrude, and so to extrude, when I click on that, you'll notice I got a little box down here that moves up and down my wall. And you'll notice I've got a left and right dimension over here. So if you know your dimensions, and you should, you can set them in here using your keyboard. And so let's say I want to be 42 inches from the left. I'm going to hit 42 and enter. Now I automatically moved my little cursor over there to 42. But now you'll notice as I move my mouse, I've got these other 2 walls sticking out here. And so let's say I want this guy to be 72 inches wide, and I'm going to tab it on down, and I want it to be 15 inches deep. And that last one, that 40 and a half, that is my measurement from the end of my mouse to the end of that wall. And yeah, we're just going to leave it the way it's at. I don't need 41 and 13/16. So I'm just going to hit enter. I could do the math and figure it all out, but the computer will do it for me. So we're just going to hit enter. And here it is. We've got 12-inch depth on it right here. And we've got a 72-inch opening, just as I asked. So that makes bump outs really quick and easy. That could be a bay window, that could be a lot of different things in your layout. And my layout doesn't have one, so we're just going to hit the back button and get rid of it. We've got a few other things in here. Add construction line, add wall. These guys, if you want to add a T-wall off of there, that's how you do that. And a construction line would be the same thing. Add construction line. Continue wall. This is one, if we got around here and we went, oops, I need a wall coming out here, we'd come down here and we'd choose continue wall, and we'd be able to add that wall in. And escape. Whenever you're done adding walls, just hit escape, and the walls you placed will stay there. Right click and delete to get rid of them. And add to group, remove from group, delete inside elevation. We don't need to do any of those. These again in the wall groups, these are the things you can do with the wall groups. But right now we've got our walls all set out here just the way we like them. So we can start with our design. Now you notice as I zoom in and out here, you might wonder how I'm doing that. I'm simply using my mouse, and it's the roller wheel on my mouse. If I pull the roller wheel to me, it zooms it out, and if I push my roller wheel away, it zooms it in. Now I know you're ready and itching to get into the actual kitchen design, and so am I, but there's a few things we need to look at before we get going here. And so we're just going to run through some of these items up here. You got File, Edit, View, Place, Settings. Some of these you'll use File, Open new Designs. You also have these right here. Place, all the different things you can place. These are also listed down through here. Settings. This you can get to your design settings, your default settings, your display settings, and all this good stuff. So you can change your display settings. You can set your background grid to different colors. Your catalog settings, you can change how the catalogs interact with the program. And but design settings and default settings, design settings you're familiar with, we've already went through these. Default settings, this is where you can come in and set some of your defaults. Here's where you set your design file path. So mine's set to documents, ProKitchen designs. This way every time I save something, it saves it to that file folder. Anytime I go to open a new design, it opens that file folder so I can find it. I don't have to go search my hard drive for it. You've got auto save every 5 minutes, and default when you install ProKitchen, you've got auto backup every 10 minutes. These backup files will save right here with PK Designs, or wherever you save your design at, it'll save in that same folder. It's nice to have those backup folders because just in case something does happen, you lose a design, something breaks and your design isn't accessible anymore. I hate to say it, but once in a while stuff like that does happen. But then you have a backup where you can go and you can grab the backup, and that saves every 10 minutes. And so for every other auto save, you get a backup save as well, which makes it very handy. You don't lose too much work that way if it ever happens. 3D mode, you've got Direct 3D and OpenGL. Comes default OpenGL. Most computers prefer OpenGL, but if you're having 3D issues and you're on with our support team, they may switch you over to Direct 3D to fix those issues. Info panel, you can either do it as an image, which would just be the black and white image. This is our info panel over here, or 3D. I would leave it set on 3D. Appearance, we've got a modern appearance and a classic appearance. This is from a few years ago when we changed the appearance of ProKitchen. Some users like the classic appearance better, so we added that in. Scroller, you can scroll through your mouse mode or touchscreen, depending on whether you're using a laptop or desktop with touchscreen. Wall handles, remember those little green things that were on the wall that I could grab and adjust the wall with? You can turn those on and off. You can change the color of them if you want. Display cabinet handles. Our cabinets can have those handles too. You can turn those on and off. Display cabinet rotation handles. You can turn those on and off. 3D door style. Leave that checked. Display catalog tooltip. We'll take a look at what that is in a minute. Tooltip's really kind of a cool feature we have. Fixed design file icons. You'll only need that if support has you turn that on. And then style, you can change the style of your handles to arrows to compact to rectangular, so that all affects the handles. And that's just the general tab. You can come in here and you can set your construction. This is default settings, so this changes for all of your catalogs. So if you come in here and set 4.5 on that, every new design you open will be 4.5 inches. You won't have to come in and change it. Countertop, light rail, you can set these as defaults so that they open the same all the time. Again, remember we set a lot of these tabs already, but those are design settings, so those change per design. This changes for all of your designs, all new designs. Cabinets, you can change your cabinet default sizes over here. Customer report, you can set how you want the defaults. All of your discounts and your design charges, you can set those in default. And you do this for each and every catalog. So every catalog can be set different. And those are some of the catalogs I have installed. And then email settings, you can either use our server, you can use your server, or you can use Outlook Express for your emails, and just some general guidelines there. And you can set those as you prefer. Now we're going to click OK on that, and then go back up to settings and display settings. This is one that you can use frequently. You see we've got view 1, 2, 3, 4, and view 5 down here. Now basically those views are the same, but you can change them to do different things. You could have one view set with everything. You could say have view 2 that is just your wall cabinets, view 3 that's just your base cabinets, view 4 that's just your plumbing or your electrical, view 5 which is just your countertops. So those are all different views that break down the layers of the cabinets, and you can come in here and change them, and you can change all of these things in each view, from the check marks that you use to the outline style to the fonts, and whether it shows with a label or no label on the layout. Measurements, again, all sorts of fun stuff in here, and I have individual tutorials on each one of these, so you can go check out the individual tutorials a little more in depth. Here's section and grid. You can come and change your grid colors if you want. Load save, these are for your settings. You can pull up different settings for different users as you save them that way. So okay, we're going to be through those. Measurements, here you can do different sorts of measurements. Command, command, how about comment? You can add a comment, you can add a line, you can add a schematic line. Catalog, create new or export your catalog information. NKBA guidelines, you can pull it up, you can read through the guidelines, you can verify your design. Report, these are all the different reports available. Updates, you can update catalogs, update preferences, and this is where you go in when you get the email that says there's been an update to such and such catalog. This is where you go in and check for your updates. And if there's an update available for these, there will be a check mark next to them. And if you may not have all of these. Only the cabinet manufacturers that you have signed up for are show up in here. So I have them all because, well, I'm just lucky that way. So you can see we have a few catalogs available. And close, and then help. Um, You've got index, you've got the video tutorials, you also have a video tutorial link over here, you've got our ProKitchen homepage, you've got our support page, and you've got report a problem. So if you're running across an issue in here, report a problem is what you want to use, click on that, fill out the form, send it over to us, we'll help you out. About ProKitchen, if you're on with our customer service team and they want to know your version or something along those lines, this is where you go. About ProKitchen, help about ProKitchen. Shows you what your ProKitchen version is, gives you all your catalogs and your catalog version, plus your core files and all that good stuff that will help support work out any issues that you might be facing. So that's all of those. Again, you can come down here. These are pretty familiar. Print preview, print templates allows you to pull up different templates and put different pages on different templates, so you can do a full presentation. This is our select icon. So when my cursor's at the pointer, it's already select. Our hand mover icon, you can move around, zoom in, zoom out, all these good zooms. And I have individual tutorials again on all of these, so if you need a little more help with them, you can look up those tutorials. Customer search, search design, view design, bill of materials. We'll take a look at that one a little bit more as we start going. Global specifications. We want to set this before we start setting our cabinets. So while we're up here, we'll just go ahead and do it for this kitchen. I actually want my kitchen to be in Fabuwood. I do it in sample, but we don't have pricing in sample, so somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb here, and I chose Fabuwood. So classic, and we want Wellington. We're going to do it in spice, standard sheen. We are no upgrades on the drawers of the hinges. And so now when I come to the Fabuwood class and classic and value lines here, only the items that are available in this door style, in this wood species, in this color will show up in my catalogs. So nothing that's not available will show up. If I don't have anything set, everything in the catalog, whether it's available in this line or not, will show. So you want to set your global specifications before you get too far into your design work. So we've got global specs, then we've got elevation, we'll take a look at that later. 3D, we'll dive into that later. Isometric as well. 3D model browser, here you can go on to Google Warehouse, Trimble Warehouse online, and you can download images from there. Manufacturer report, customer report, multi-quote combined, we'll take a look at all those later. Email design, update catalogs, easy link, this is for your electronic ordering. Report a problem, got a button out here so when you do run across a problem you can report it easily to our support staff. Help button and video tutorials. So those are all those icons. We'll just run down these real quick. You can place cabinets, you can pull up an individual box to place cabinets out of. I don't use that, it's easier for me to do it from down here. Same things, you've got windows and doors and appliances and plumbing and lighting and furniture and decorative items and solutions and countertop, and this is how you place countertop. You've got countertop designer, we'll take a look at him later, backsplash, molding, switch skews, closet, horizontal, vertical, and you might have a few more under there that are disappeared underneath my grid work, but to see those I can come in here and grab it, move them up here. So here we can flip our layout back and forth. So I'm going to reset this guy because I won't be using those buttons. So here we go, here's our layout. Now we're ready to start putting in some cabinets. But we're going to start with windows. So I want a casement window. And I'm going to grab a 36-inch casement window. I'm going to do it in oak. And I want the width of it to be 36. This is my little tool tip. Pops up. I can do some adjustments on these windows before I put them in the plan. So I'm going to make it 36 wide, 36 high, and I want to place it, and I want it on this wall. And as I drag it from side to side here, you'll notice I change over here. And so I want it to be 54 from the left, so I'm just going to type in 54, hit enter on my keyboard, and I don't want to place another window, so I'm going to cancel, and here I'm 54 inches. So there, my window is set. Now we're ready for some cabinets. I prefer to start with my base cabinets, and I prefer to start with my base corner cabinets because those are kind of set. You kind of know what those are going to be. So I want a Lazy Susan cabinet. If I click up here on my easy reach, there's a couple of those, but I want a Lazy Susan. We're going to do a 36 left. 36 left. There we go. Whoops. Get my select tool. Helps better if I have my select tool on. 36 right. Those pop right in the corners. Now I can come in and start filling in some of the other things. Standard base cabinet, drawer base cabinets. I want a drawer base up here next to that guy. Then I'm going to want a sink base. I'm going to scroll to my sink base. Sink base 36. Now I've got this guy already set. He's highlighted red. You notice there is a tooltip arrow over it here. If I click on that, it allows me to drag it in and out which makes it kind of handy. I clicked back on my cabinet and it's highlighted red. Now I can grab this next cabinet and I can drag it over here and I can slide it in place. Or with it highlighted red, I can just double click and it'll place it to the right. Always to the right. So that drops my 36 out there. Makes placing a line of cabinets quick and easy. Want a single door cabinet, probably a right-hander coming off of here. Then I'll put my stove in next. And I want a double door cabinet coming off of here. And then I'll need a little bit of a filler. And then I'll need a base, another double door cabinet. And I'm thinking like 42 will slide in here nicely. We'll just get him lined up. And I know my measurement up there is 9 and 15/16. So we'll set that in there, and there we're set. With that guy, I'll come back in later and put in a filler. And then I want another cabinet, a base 30, and I want it over here. And I want it to be 30 inches from that cabinet. And I want it to be 39 inches from the other wall. So that's my left wall, 39. And that places it right in there for me. I want to zoom out just a little bit so it all fits on my screen. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to close some of these because I'm done using them. Because I have basically all my base cabinets set. And so there's everything set here. Now I am going to go in and start working on my wall cabinets. So I clicked on my wall cabinet icon. And we're going to start with my corner wall cabinets. And we can do a diagonal corner, 30 inches high. And I want that to be a 24/30 left. Just going to drag and drop it out there. And close these up behind me. You can leave them open if you want, but I like to keep it closed and tidy. And start placing some cabinets around this guy. Get some 27s out there. And I'm going to start on that wall with a 30. And if I did my math in my head correctly, there we go. They'll snap right in. Now that guy I'm going to leave offset just for fun. I'm going to right click on this guy. We're going to go to center. And I'm going to come back and I'm just going to click on my base 30 and it centers it up right over that base 30. Makes it really easy to set those cabinets. You don't have to drag them in and out and try to get them placed precisely. Especially when we're zoomed way out like we are on this. Okay. Need a couple more wall cabinets in here. 30/15. That was my tooltip that popped up. You can come in here and make those adjustments. Pull it off the wall, pull it off of a side if you want. Set it at an angle, change the elevation. You can do all that right here before you drop it out on the plan. Makes it kind of handy. And I want a 12-inch for over that. And there we're all set there. So now I've got all my wall cabinets set. Got all my base cabinets set. Now let's take a look at some of the things we can do with these cabinets as they're set. So I'm going to click on my sink base, and here we can drag it, we can move it, we can rotate it, we can do it clockwise, counterclockwise, we can pull it in and out, we can make it up and down, we can change the center of it, we can position it, we can fit it. Fit's kind of a fun little feature that allows you to fit a cabinet in a space that it probably shouldn't fit in. So say you got a 20-inch space, you can take a 21-inch cabinet, set it to the side, click fit, click in the spacing and drop it in there. And again, I have tutorials for each one of these, so you can come back and check those out. You can move you can stack cabinets, we can change nomenclature, we can copy, replace, edit, delete, and attributes. Attributes is where we want to go. Open up the attributes window here, and this is the attributes for my sink base cabinet. Got modifications. These are all the modifications that are available for my sink base cabinet. So I can put on specialty doors, cut items, chases. Now these may not all be available for your cabinet line, but these are available for the Fabuwood cabinet line. So I can increase the depth of it if I wanted to. To add a mod, you just highlight it over here, click the little button to add it over. This mod has an extra window that pops up because it wants to know how deep I want to make it. We can make it 27 inches deep. I'm going to hit OK on that, and then I'm going to hit OK down here. But before I do that, you can rotate this guy around and check it out a little more if you want. I'm going to hit OK down here. You notice my change to 27 inches deep. You notice there's a little line underneath it. That little line indicates that there is a modification. I'm going to pull up my bill of materials right here. Here's my bill of materials. This is all the cabinets I popped out here. I'm going to click on number 4, and you'll notice that my sink base highlights down here when I click on that. I click on number 2, the cabinet it correlates with highlights. So I'm going to click on number 4. You notice I've got 4 and then I've got 4.01. 4.01 is the modification. This indicates that the factory is doing that modification for me, and there should be a pricing charge attached to it. Alright, so we're going to go back in the sink base. I'm going to go back to attributes. Pull this back up. I'll go to modifications because I really don't want that mod, and I'm going to take that mod off. Whoops, I got to highlight it. Take that mod off. Okay, mods are gone. So all the fun little features there. Let's place a couple of appliances now. I'm going to click on my appliance icon. Cooking, this will give us this range. I want an electric range. I want a freestanding electric stainless steel range. Place. And I'm going to drop it right in there. Once I drop it, opens up this window again so I can go and I can place the next one. I'm going to close cooking. I'm going to go to refrigeration, bottom freezer, and I'm going to grab this guy and place, and I'm just going to drop him right on the plan in this spot. And I've got one more. I need a dishwasher out here. So I'm going to go dishwasher, stainless steel, place, click in the hole, and drop it out there. And I guess I do have one more. Let's do a microwave oven combo, over the range. Let's do an over the range microwave. Stainless steel, in place, and it drops it in right there. Cancel. Okay, so here's most of my cabinets out here. I need a filler yet, and then we're getting real close to adding countertops, all sorts of good stuff. So I'm going to grab a filler over here. I need a base filler, and a base filler, and a BF3. So to place the filler, I'm just going to grab it, just like a regular cabinet. I'm going to drop it right back here next to the wall. And there it is, popped right in place, just like it's supposed to. Now, I've got basically all of my items set here. And so we're going to come in. I don't have countertops, I don't have all that good stuff. But we're going to come in and we're going to take a look at some of the elevations, because you may not be able to pop these in your head as easy. You may need to actually view your elevations to see it. So you can come up here, and if you just come up here and click on the elevation icon, it'll ask you to please select a desired wall first. So we get a lot of questions on that one. So you just simply click on the wall. When those little blue icons and the handles pop up, click on your elevation. And here's the elevation for that wall. Notice my microwave's a little out of control. We're going to have to adjust him a little bit. I'm going to build an elevation for my next wall, and my next wall, and my last wall. Okay, so as these elevations tabbed around here, you'll see they're L1, L2, L3, L4. They stay in their tabs. Now if you've got a big kitchen, these might be confusing. So you can come up here and right click on this tab. You can delete the tab if you ended up having that same elevation multiple times. Or you can edit the tab. And let's name this range wall. Now I've got range wall. Edit tab. Sink wall. So that helps you keep track of all of these as you go along. Just makes it a little bit easier. So you can tab through here. Now if you close your elevation, no big deal. You can come right back up here and open it. Here's all your tabs. Now in elevation you can also work. I'm going to take my microwave and I've clicked on it. I just did a single click on it and I got the little arrow up down. So I'm going to click on that up down arrow. I'm going to drag my microwave down and I'm going to drag it right back up so it sits underneath that cabinet. There's my microwave. I can grab cabinets off of here if I want to. I can put them back on. I can grab cabinets off of here. I can delete cabinets from there. I can come up here, over here, out here, around here. I can come here and I can grab a cabinet and I can drop it in my elevation if I want to. I can move it up and around, I can move it down, I can stick it wherever I want to stick it. I do all sorts of crazy things with it. Come on, click on that. There we go. So that's all the fun stuff I can do with that. Now clearly that is not the cabinet I want up there. Need something more along the lines of this. There we go. Much better. So that's working in elevation. You can do your whole design in elevation if you would like. I'm going to close elevation out. I'm going to place some plumbing now because that would be the logical next step. I click on my plumbing icon. I've got bath fixtures and kitchen fixtures. I'm going to start with the kitchen fixture because, well, it's the kitchen. So self-rimming sink, and I'm just grabbing one. You know, they're all, I'm not even going to center it. I'm just going to grab it and drop it out there. Faucet. We got quite a few faucets in here. Let's just grab that one. Looks good. Place, and I'm just going to drop it out here too. Cancel. Here we'll use center. Come down here and grab the sink, center. I'm going to click on my cabinet and it'll center it up. My faucet, grab the right one, and we want to center that. And again, just click on the cabinet and it lines it right up. So here's all of our cabinets. We're going to grab a quick 3D of this just so you can see what we're dealing with. And here's our 3D. We can rotate it around. Now to rotate this, I am holding down my right mouse button and moving my mouse. My left mouse button and move my mouse moves the entire layout. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. You also have mouse controls up here, so you can control it by button. You can save it, you can print it. We can change the door style, we can change the countertop style, we can change the floor style, we can change the wall style, we can change the ceiling style, we can hide invisible walls, we can open close doors, we can refine it, we can change the lighting, we can show high def, and we can exit. You can exit from here or the red button over here, and we aren't ready to do any of those little things, so we are going to exit. Now, who's ready for countertops? I'm ready for countertops. So, countertops. We can do countertops a couple different ways. We've got our countertop icon. Click on that. Voila. Basic countertops. Easy, sneezy, bright and breezy, quick and done. And this is what we're going to use for this. We also have Countertop Designer. We've got a whole separate tutorial for Countertop Designer. We're just going to take a quick look. Basically, you just auto-generate your countertops. We already set them, so they're already in here. You can come in here, you can do individual selections of countertop if you'd like. You've got corners. You come in here and you can put little corners on it, you know, radius all your corners. Segments, you do bump outs and stuff like that. Cutouts, you can do a sink cutout in here if you wanted, whatever. Edge profiles, you can come in here and set your edge profile. Pretty easy, just come in, set profiles. Bump out's giving us a little grief there. Anyways, you go around, set your profiles. Material, you've got all of the materials in here. Tops one, select, and you come in here and choose your countertop, and then apply, click it right on. CNC radius, you can put all your CNC radiuses in there. If you've got a European miter in it, you can do that. You can add your backsplash. Voila. You can add sinks, you can add appliances. Bill of materials, come in here and set up your pricing. This stays as a default, so once you set your pricing, you don't have to do it for each design. Set your pricing up in here. Everything you set over here will come out with a price. You can also save this, print it. Um, you can come over here, export the PDF, so you have a nice little countertop layout. You can send this right to your countertop guys for bids. CNC integration, it'll kick out the CNC information, so you can actually send that right to your guys. I don't know if you'd actually want to build off it, just because there's all those on-the-job nuances that tend to change the size of your countertops a little bit, but you certainly could. You can preview it, you can print it, you can template it, you can refresh it. Summary, place all, we'll put it on the layout. We're not going to place it all because I don't like what's in there. Close designer, and we're back to our normal countertop. Again, I have a big tutorial on designer, so you can go check that out. Now you notice I got a little hole in my countertop back here. This is normal. To fill that hole, I'm just going to come up here, I'm going to right click, I zoomed in a little bit, I'm going to choose my countertop and I'm going to go to edit. Now here's my little trick for doing these. You just simply grab this little line here, we drag it down to the corner. When it hits the corner, we do a simple click. I'm going to come up right here, I'm going to right click on this design point, and I'm going to delete point, and there's my countertop. I'm going to zoom to fit, and there's my layout. Now to get out of countertop edit, we come back up here and we click on our select tool. We're out of countertop edit. Now I know you probably have a lot of questions on countertops and countertop edit. Again, we've got an in-depth tutorial that goes over all of this information in depth, walks you right through doing every step and every feature. So now I am going to put a raised bar back here, so I need to do a little bit of work. I'm going to right click on this wall, I'm going to choose this wall attributes, and we're going to set this wall height at 40.5 inches. Okay, come down to this wall and we're going to do the same thing. Oops, helps if you can see. Attributes, and we're going to set this at 40.5 as well. Okay, zoom to fit, get those guys back over here. I'm going to scroll off the side because I need a little working room over here. Now, to build this raised countertop, we are going to use a user shape. User shapes are fun little shapes. We can build all sorts of things out of user shapes. Now, there's a couple ways to access your user shapes. You can click on catalogs, and you can come down here to architectural elements and user shapes. And you've got floor and wall. Wall and floor. There's an easier way to get to this. I hate changing my catalogs up here because I come back and now everything's reset and so the way I like to do it is I like to choose either my doors or windows icon up here, and I just come in and click on user shapes. It's the very first one. I've got floor user shapes and wall user shapes. I want to use a floor user shape. You will use floor user shapes for most user shapes. We don't use wall user shapes for too much. I'm going to hit place, and I'm just going to drop this right out here in my plan. Now I'm going to cancel. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to right click on my user shape, and I am going to go to my up down because it's a floor user shape, so it is sitting on the floor. As you can see, 0. I'm just going to hit tab, and I want 40.5 to be I want tab. Alright, tab. There we go. 40.5 and enter. Now I'm 40 and a half inches off the floor. You can double check that if you want by going up down again. 40 and a half, 55 inches to the ceiling. I'm going to right click again. Now I'm going to go to attributes. And under attributes, I can set my general dimension. If we're just doing square, then that's great. I want it to be 18 inches wide. I want it to be 96 inches long. And it is countertop, so I want it to be 1.5 inches thick. Now I'm going to hit texture tab. And from here, we can set this to any texture you want. We can select a wood. This would be oak, maple, cherry, hickory, whatever, in the multitude of finishes we have in our library. We can select a non-wood. This would be, well, this would be any of these. So countertop colors. You can match the catalog. So in this case, our catalog is set to Fabuwood. I think we're birch in an auburn color, and so our countertop would be Fabuwood birch auburn. And or we can do it as countertop. So I'm going to choose as countertop, and I'm going to hit OK. So here's my little countertop out here, and we're going to click on it. We're just going to hold down my left mouse button. We're going to drag it over here, and it's going to turn on us. Okay. We're going to go to move. I'm going to click out here, and now I can move it. If I right click while I'm in move, I can rotate. So I right click to rotate. I get it to rotate it the way I want it. I'm going to right click again, and I'm back to move. Now I'm just going to simply drag it over here, and we're going to get it about where we think it should be. Somewhere about right, come on, right there. Okay, now we need to edit it just a little bit, so we're going to go back to edit. And now this edit's just like countertop, so we're going to stretch it down here a ways. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a point. I want that point to be right there in the corner. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add another point. Again, right there in that corner. Now I'm going to grab my line here. I'm just going to do a single left click on it. Now I'm going to drag it out over here like so. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose bevel. I'm going to bevel this down until it hits that point. There we go. I'll right click and I'm going to choose bevel again, and I'm going to bevel this up till I'm about at my 18-inch or 15-inch depth. Now here I'm going to come in and I'm going to hit delete point, and now I'm just going to grab that point. I just clicked on the point to grab it, and I'm just going to slide it back a little bit. I might have to zoom in to get that just right. Looks pretty good. Nope, it needs to come down just a little bit. There we go. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to do a bevel, and I'm just going to put a little clip on that corner. I'm going to do a bevel. I'm just going to put a little clip on that corner. And there is my raised countertop. Again, I'm in edit, so we've got two ways to get out of edit. Escape on the keyboard, or click on my select button. And I'm going to zoom to fit. Okay, countertop's in, our raised bar's in. We need a little bit of backsplash. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the backsplash button, and I'm going to place my backsplash. Now remember when we were out here in design settings and moldings, we set these up. Alright, we're going to place those moldings. Now I can place manually from here. I can come over here and I can grab moldings. I can drag them out and I can drop them on the plan. Easy sneezy. If I want to stack moldings, FYI, if I want to stack moldings, I got this one out here. Say I want to add another molding to the top of that. We're just going to grab one. I'm just going to come out here and I'm going to drop it right on the cabinet, and now I've got a double stack of moldings. See that big stack there? How easy is that? Delete moldings. We're just going to come back in here, right click, delete, right click. You can either come down here and delete, or you can just right click, and if you once it's highlighted, hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, so now to place them with auto placement, we're just going to click on it, and it's going to drop all my moldings out here. Now you'll notice there's a little arrow on countertop. There's a little arrow in that corner. There's a little arrow in that corner. If we hold down our button, it comes up with a menu. So we can remove all the moldings, we can add one molding, or we can remove one molding. So just something in there that makes it a little bit easier to work with. And we can do the same thing with countertops. Has the same menu. Remove all countertops, add one countertop, remove one countertop. I don't want to remove any of them. I worked hard to get them in there. Okay, so we've got moldings, we've got countertop, we've got cabinets, we've got appliances, we've got windows, we've got walls. I think we're ready to take a look at our layout. So we can view it two ways. We've got 3D, we've got isometric. We'll create a 3D first here. And there's our 3D. You notice I've got a raised floating wall there. Well, I'll show you how to fix that. You'll notice this little wall under here, as I rotate away from it, pops into place. As I rotate back around, it disappears. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Watch as I rotate around. They disappear, so you can see the back of the cabinets. We can leave those walls in there. There's a trick to leaving those walls. We just let them go out. So they're all the way around. There's our kitchen. Nice, easy peasy. Nice stainless steel appliances in there. You can rotate it around. You can zoom it in, you can zoom it out to get it just the look you want for your customer. And if you want to build a high def, you can click on it here, and this will build a high def version. Yeah, it's that quick. And in the high def, you can see, now it's a little choppy up here, but when it's full size, but you can see reflections. You can set all of your adjustments over here. Do an additional highlight for dark finishes, and you can set your different sizes. We're going to do it small here so it's easy to preview. We're going to render, and it renders up here in just a moment. Okay, and there's our final rendered design. I know I left you guys there for a minute while it rendered, and it literally was a minute. It took about 90 seconds to render this out. But you can see the reflection in the floors, and you can turn the shininess of the floors up and down, so you can have, just exactly the sheen that you want on it. But that's a pretty decent high def rendering to give to your customer. Close that, close that. Of course, you can print this off if you want. We're going to take a look at a few of the other features up here, but before we do that, we're going to fix our walls. So we're going to close this. Now remember these two little walls that disappear up here? If you don't want them to disappear, we're just going to go to Wall and add Wall. Alright, come on over here. Everybody cooperate. Alright, we're going to do wall number 3, attributes. We're going to turn on our outside zone. Okay, now you notice it added a measurement in here and add a line there. Kind of adds a little cluster to it, to your layout, but you're only doing this for a couple of minutes while you're viewing the 3D. So here we go, and we're going to do back to zoom to fit, and now we're going to do our 3D again. Let it render up, and now those walls stay. So here we are. We're going to zoom out just a fraction. Now, we can change our 3D. Remember we were classic Wellington birch spice? What if we want something else? We're sitting there with the customer. The customer may decide, hey, I want elite. Come in, what does that look like? High sheen. What does that look like? That's what elite high sheen looks like. Cool, says the customer. Well, maybe I want something maybe I want Hallmark, because, that's cheaper. Well, let's just take a look what that looks like. I'm not even going to set the rest of them. Right there. There you go. Quick and easy. You can switch through there. We can do the same thing with countertops. Oh, I hate that countertop. It's way too dark. Makes my kitchen way too dark. Well, how's that one look? There you go. Makes it really easy to sit with your customer and do some general picking out. Flooring, same thing. We can change the flooring. Wall colors, we can change the wall colors. All the way through here. Ceiling. So lots of fun stuff. You can change your lighting in here if you need to change your lighting. You can adjust the light up and down. So sometimes it helps change the lighting, cut down some of the glare. So there's 3D in a nutshell. We're going to close out of 3D. And then we have isometric. Let's take a look at an isometric. Isometric is just simply 3D in black and white. So there you have it. Quick and easy. So if you're not into giving color pictures to your customers, you can still do isometric. Google Warehouse, you can go in there and you can place things from there. That's a whole different tutorial we're not going to take a look at. We are getting pretty close to our time frame here, so wanted to keep this about an hour to an hour and a half, and we're a little bit over an hour at this point. So to wrap this up in a nutshell, well, we're not ready to wrap up. We've done the basics. We've created a design. We've set our global specifications for this design. Now, let's take a look at how we would price this design. We've got a couple different pricing options up here. The first one you're going to use is the customer report. I'm going to click on this, and this is a report that you can print off and actually give to your customer. That's what this report is designed for. So you can come in here, you can set your sales tax, you can set your design charge, you can set your shipping charge. Some of these things can be percentages or dollars. I want 10% for shipping. Um, Installation, you can put installation. This is a per cabinet installation. If you put in over here, it's $50 per cabinet. I'm going to set that at 0 because I don't want my cabinets priced. And here you can do a discount or you can do a multiplier. So if you're a normal manufacturer and you're working with a discounted list price, you can come in here and you can put your discount in. We're going to come up here and we're going to use this one, and I'm going to use 33. So a third of the list price. Um, if you're a manufacturer that works off of a multiplier, as in you see your list prices from the manufacturer and you mark that up, that's where you'd use your multiplier down here. So 33% discount, or it could be a $33 discount. You could be having run the sale, come in, buy your kitchen today, receive $1,500 off. That's where you put that in here, and you do dollar instead of percentage. So you can include your logo. You can put in a custom page header, custom page footer. Pricing is all over here. Installation, you can do individual pricing installation for each cabinet if you want to type it in here. Be a pain in the neck. Or you could come in and put in the full job installation, which say would be 1500. You got to click off of that. Don't do like I do, type it in there. You need to click off or it won't save it. Trust me, every time I do it, I forget. Project settings. Remember when we set this up? We set I didn't put a job name in here or contract name, but we could do that. We could do this as the Smith job contract. If you got a contract number, that would show up in here. Here's the dealer settings that we had set. And now we want to view the report. Here's our report. Job name, designer name, customer company, everything we entered over there, set right up over here for you. Very convenient. Here's our global settings. Classic Wellington full overlay birch spice. Here's our prices. Here's our total cabinet price. Any upgrades that we would have added would have showed in here. I didn't add any. Here's our total overall price. This would be total list price from the manufacturer. Here's our discounted price, our discount amount, and our discounted price. Installation and design fees. That brings us right back up to the list. And our shipping charge and our total catalog price. So this would be your total sell price down here when you set all that correctly. So this is something you can print out, give right to your manufacturer or give right to your customer. Um, if we had all of our countertop information set up, you can print that off just the same. Now let's take a look at the manufacturer report. This is the report you would actually use to order your cabinets off of. And here you can come in, put your PO number and your order number, fill all this in over here if you want to. All the rest of this information is filled out. We did that in catalog settings and it transfers over. Here we're going to hit OK and it builds our quote, our order. And so there's all of our header information. Here's our product and our pricing. So you could save this and email it into your manufacturer for order if they accept email orders. Or you can fax it in, print it and fax it, whatever required to get that off to the manufacturer. So it's If we have the manufacturer order form and paperwork, we'll actually put it right on their own order form and paperwork, depending on whether the manufacturer wants that or not. And so then you can also come over here, you can do a multi-quote report, which is kind of handy. You can turn on how many you want. I'm going to turn on 2. So quote number 1, this is our first quote. Or the customer's not sure if that's exactly what they want. We can come over here and we can do something different. You know, we can do another setting here. And when we view the report, you'll have both of them up there. Here's our report, all of our header information again. And here's our order information. We've got quote 1 classic, quote 2 classic. Quote 1 is Wellington, quote number 2 is elite. You can look right through there. Here's the pricing, quote number 1, quote number 2. Here is again quote number 1, quote number 2. Total prices at the bottom. Makes it really easy to set up to 5 and compare up to 5 prices for one manufacturer all at once. Unfortunately, you can't compare prices between manufacturers because the layouts just don't work for that. Now, over the past, just over an hour, we have gone through ProKitchen start to finish. We've looked at all the features in ProKitchen. We've designed a kitchen from the ground up, from placing cabinets all the way up through having pricing. So you can really see how easy ProKitchen is to use. Now, if you continue to have questions and issues, because you will, I mean, we did a basic, we didn't cover in-depth everything, but I have in-depth tutorials on everything. So you can hop into our website, and you can do it really easy from ProKitchen just by clicking on our tutorial button over here. There we go, video tutorials. Pops you right into ProKitchen, and it pops you right in here. So you can see I've got set up in here left toolbar tutorials. So left toolbar tutorials. Here's our left toolbar. Starts out with sketch and construction lines, all the way down through. Top toolbar tutorials. Top menu tutorials are in here. Menu tutorials, all the way through here. So if you have any questions on anything, you can come in here and you can find it, and you can have a little rundown on how it works. So um, that is ProKitchen basic tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it.